He said he was getting therapy to work on himself. I was proud. Then I found out his therapist was his ex. I called the clinic, pretending to be him, and asked to reschedule. The receptionist said, "We don't see clients we're dating." I said, "Good to know." I met Marcus at a quaint little bookstore in downtown Asheville, North Carolina. He was charming, with a smile that could light up a room and eyes that held stories untold. Our connection was instant, and within months, we were inseparable. He was a freelance graphic designer, and I was a school counselor. Our shared love for art and literature bonded us deeply. After 2 years of dating, Marcus proposed during a sunset hike on the Blue Ridge Parkway. It was magical, and I said yes without hesitation. We planned a simple wedding and looked forward to building a life together. Marriage, however, wasn't as smooth as we had envisioned. Marcus became distant, often engrossed in his work or lost in thought. He confessed to feeling overwhelmed and suggested therapy to work on himself. I was supportive, believing that seeking help was a sign of strength. He began attending weekly sessions at a local clinic. After each session, he'd come home with renewed energy, sharing insights and expressing hope for our future. I was proud of him, thinking we were on the path to healing. One evening, while doing laundry, I noticed a receipt from a cafe in Charlotte, 2 hours away. It was dated on a day he claimed to have had a therapy session. When I confronted him, he brushed it off, saying he met an old friend after therapy. Something felt off, but I chose to trust him. Weeks later, I found another receipt, this time from a hotel in Charlotte. My heart sank. I decided to dig deeper. I called the clinic, pretending to be Marcus, and asked to reschedule his appointment. The receptionist replied, "We don't see clients we're dating." I was stunned. I asked her to repeat herself, and she did. I hung up, my hands trembling. I did some research and discovered that his therapist was his ex-girlfriend, Rachel. They had dated in college, but broke up due to her moving to Charlotte for graduate school. Apparently, they had rekindled their relationship under the guise of therapy. That evening, I confronted Marcus. He denied it at first, but eventually confessed. He claimed it started as therapy but evolved into something more. He apologized, saying he was confused and didn't mean to hurt me. I was devastated. Our marriage was built on trust, and he shattered it. I asked him to leave, needing space to process everything. After days of crying and questioning, I decided I wouldn't be a victim. I wanted justice. I gathered evidence, receipts, messages, and even a recording of our confrontation. I filed a complaint against Rachel with the North Carolina Board of Licensed Professional Counselors, detailing the unethical relationship with her client. I also reached out to a local journalist who specialized in uncovering unethical practices. He was intrigued and agreed to investigate. The story made headlines. Therapist engages in unethical relationship with client. Rachel's license was suspended pending investigation. Marcus faced backlash from his clients and lost several contracts. I filed for divorce, citing infidelity. The court ruled in my favor, granting me the house and a significant portion of our shared assets. It wasn't easy, but I began to heal. I focused on my work, helping students navigate their challenges. I joined support groups and found solace in sharing my story. Over time, the pain lessened, replaced by strength and resilience. I learned that sometimes, the people we trust the most can betray us. But with courage and determination, we can reclaim our lives and find peace. Years later, I met someone new, someone who valued honesty and integrity. We built a life together, grounded in trust and mutual respect. My past became a chapter in my story, a reminder of my strength and the importance of standing up for oneself. Just when I thought I was finally moving forward, Marcus came back. It started with small things. A like on an old photo. A message saying, "Hope you're well." I ignored him. But then, I saw him one evening parked across the street from my house, just sitting in his car. The next day, a bouquet of lilies showed up at my doorstep. No card. I knew it was him. Marcus never liked buying flowers, said they were a waste. But lilies were the only flowers I ever caught him staring at. I called the police, reported the stalking. They warned him. I thought that would be enough. It wasn't. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the clinic. The same one he used to visit. The receptionist sounded uncomfortable. Hi, I wasn't sure if I should call, but we received a complaint from someone claiming you were harassing one of our therapists. Rachel. My blood turned cold. Excuse me? They gave your full name. Said you've been spreading lies and stalking Rachel online. I laughed bitterly. She was dating her client. I filed a complaint months ago. The board is still investigating. The receptionist sighed. I figured something was off. But we had to follow up. I hung up, shaking. Marcus was trying to turn the story around. Make me the villain. A week later, I got an email from a man claiming to be a therapist. Said he'd heard my story through a friend and offered free sessions to help me process the trauma. It was sketchy. I did a reverse search on the email domain. It wasn't from any official clinic. It was registered under Marcus's name. He created a fake therapist. I was done being quiet. I collected all the messages, the email headers, everything. I reached out to the board again. I contacted a lawyer. I wasn't just going to protect myself, I was going to expose everything. Then came the most shocking twist of all. Rachel showed up at my workplace. She waited until I was leaving and caught me in the parking lot. She looked different, drawn, exhausted, like someone who hadn't slept in days. I'm not here to fight, she said quickly. I need to tell you something. I almost walked away. But curiosity stopped me. He lied to me too, she said. Told me you two were separated. That you were unstable. He used therapy to worm his way into my life again. I lost my license, my clients, everything. She looked me dead in the eye. I'm scared of him too. Rachel gave me a USB stick. I didn't want to do this. But if he's still trying to ruin your life, you need to see what he did. Inside were audio recordings of Marcus talking during their sessions. And outside them, bragging about manipulation, mocking both of us, saying he could twist anything and anyone. It was disgusting. But it was also evidence. I passed everything to my lawyer, to the board, even to the journalist I worked with before. Rachel and I, enemies once, were now unwilling allies in something darker than either of us expected. As it all came out, more women came forward. A former coworker of his, a neighbor, a woman from his gym, all saying the same thing, charming, sweet, and then slowly, scary, controlling, manipulative. Marcus wasn't just a cheater. He was a predator. Someone who used therapy terms, fake vulnerability, and polished charm to get close to women and then twist everything. I finally saw him for what he really was. Not just a liar. A danger. A few days after handing the USB to my lawyer, I received a certified letter. The sender? Marcus's new attorney. Inside were copies of documents claiming that I had been emotionally abusive during our marriage. That Marcus had sought therapy because I had narcissistic traits and caused him emotional harm. There was even a document with a therapist's signature, someone I'd never heard of, diagnosing me with borderline personality disorder. It was complete fiction. But the document looked official. I checked the therapist's license with the state board. No such person existed. Marcus had forged a diagnosis. He was building a false case, maybe for court, maybe to get custody of something down the line if we ever had kids. But we didn't. So why? Then it hit me. He was laying the groundwork to sue me for defamation. My lawyer and I crafted a plan. We set up a fake email account under a friend's name, someone Marcus didn't know. The account sent a message saying, "Hey, I heard what happened with your ex. I believe you. If you ever want to share your side, I'm a freelance writer working on a story about toxic relationships." Marcus took the bait. He responded the next day, and his arrogance got the better of him. He bragged, again, about how he had doctored documents to protect himself, how he was smarter than the system, how no one could trace what he was doing. It was all there, written in his own words. Then something strange happened. Rachel vanished. She stopped replying to texts. Her number was disconnected. Her apartment was empty. No forwarding address. At first, I thought maybe she moved to start over. But I remembered something she said during that late-night parking lot talk. He doesn't let people leave clean. I reported her missing. The cops took it seriously, but with no sign of foul play, it was hard to push further. Still, I couldn't let it go. I searched for days, digging online, calling hospitals, looking at local shelters. Then I found a clue, a post on an obscure mental health subreddit. The writing style was hers. She talked about someone smearing her name and fearing for her safety. No real details. But it was her. She was alive, hiding, and scared. The journalist I'd been working with finally published a long exposé. He titled it, Therapy, Lies, and Gaslight, The Story of Marcus Reed. It laid everything out: fake therapist documents, manipulated women, emotional abuse, forged diagnoses. It went viral in hours. And then something even crazier happened. Marcus's old college professor reached out. She had kept emails from when Marcus was a student in her clinical psych class. One email talked about practicing forging clinical forms as a joke. We now had proof he'd been planning things like this for years. That article didn't just expose Marcus. It unmasked him. Marcus filed a defamation suit against me. His argument? That my complaint ruined his life, and that the media coverage was based on false statements. My lawyer was ready. We brought it all: the USB, the fake therapist letter, the baited email messages, the professor's emails, and statements from 4 women who had suffered similar psychological games from him. He sat there in court, wearing a smug grin, until the judge asked, "Mr. Reed, do you deny these documents are your own?" He paused. For the first time, he looked nervous. "I don't recall," he said. The judge raised an eyebrow. "That's not a denial. You'd think that would be the end, right?" It wasn't. Even after losing the case, Marcus didn't stop. I got harassing voicemails from unknown numbers, packages with no return address. My tires were slashed twice. The police had nothing solid to arrest him on, but they warned me to stay alert. So I installed cameras, got a dog, changed my routines. I refused to let fear win. Then came the last twist I never saw coming. One night, I got a call from a blocked number. A woman's voice. "He's after me now," she whispered. "He said I remind him of you. My name's Jenna. I think I'm next." I met Jenna the next day. She was young, barely out of college, and already looked tired of life. She told me how she met Marcus at a business networking event in Raleigh. He said he was a life coach now, claimed he had overcome a dark past and wanted to help others. He told her she was special, that she reminded him of a woman who broke him. Me. She believed it at first, until he got controlling. Weird rules, gaslighting, late-night breakdowns where he'd cry about being a victim. Jenna started Googling. She found the article, found my name, reached out. "I was scared," she said. "But I'm ready now. I'll help you take him down." With Jenna's help, we laid the trap. She kept talking to him, feeding him information. Told him she was afraid I might come after her. Said I was unstable and obsessed. It worked. He opened up, got bolder. He sent her screenshots of chats he forged with my name, threats that I never wrote. Then, he asked her to file a police report against me. We had it all recorded. And this time, we went federal. Forgery, harassment, tampering with evidence. The FBI got involved. They arrested Marcus on a Wednesday morning at a coffee shop in Durham. He was wearing one of his fake Life Coach branded hoodies and giving advice to a woman who looked confused and uncomfortable. When they cuffed him, he shouted like a madman. "This is a setup. She's framing me. I help women. I'm the victim." The agents didn't flinch. As they dragged him out, he locked eyes with me. "You think this is over?" he hissed. "No," I said, calm and clear. "It's just the beginning." This time, it wasn't civil court. This was criminal. Forgery, fraud, harassment, witness intimidation, practicing therapy without a license, identity theft, even stalking. The list was long. Jenna testified. So did Rachel, who came out of hiding with new legal support. Four other women showed up, stronger now. And me, I told the whole story, beginning to end. I didn't hold back. But I also didn't pretend I was perfect. I admitted I ignored the early signs. That I trusted him blindly. That I made myself small to keep the peace. That I didn't believe other women fast enough. That was my mistake. I owned it. The judge didn't hold back either. "Mr. Reed," she said, "you used emotional manipulation as a weapon. You wore empathy like a costume. You left real pain behind you, and it ends today. 25 years. No parole." The courtroom erupted. Tears, gasps, even a few claps. Not for joy, but for relief. For closure. Jenna hugged me, shaking. Rachel just nodded, eyes shining. We weren't cheering. We were finally breathing. Before I left court that day, I took a box from my car. I'd kept it for years. Photos of Marcus and me. Letters. Gifts. Notes he left around the house. Even that first receipt from the cafe in Charlotte. I drove up to the Blue Ridge Parkway, the place he proposed. I parked. Took out the box. Lit a match. Watched it burn. Watched the smoke twist upward, carrying every lie with it. You want a happy ending? I don't know if this is that, but it's real. Rachel started her own support group for women leaving abusive therapists. Jenna went back to school, wants to be a lawyer now. And me? I moved to a small town outside Asheville. I garden. I hike. I counsel kids again. I sleep with both eyes open. I still get anxious sometimes, but I don't feel crazy anymore. Because the truth came out. And because sometimes the best revenge is telling the whole story and surviving anyway.